God. Welcome, brothers, friends, and family of the fraternity. We're here to talk a little bit about Day of Giving and celebrate Founders Day a little bit. My name is Parker Miguel. I'm our Senior Director of Organizational Growth, and my two colleagues.
I'm Anderson, and I am the consultant here for PICAP.
And I'm Jason Marchetti. I'm also a consultant here for PICAP.
I want to give you a little bit of updates on some of the challenges we've got going on right now, as well as some fundraising for Day of Giving. So pass it off to these two to tell you a little bit about it.
All right, so right now for the most donors, we have leading the Delta Delta chapter at Truman State with 14 donors. We have the Omega chapter at Purdue with 11 donors, the Gamma Nu at LaGrange College with 8, Alpha Psi Indiana with 7, and Epsilon Epsilon UVA Wise with 6.
And for most money raised by chapters, we have Epsilon Omicron at Villanova with 5,000, Zeta Theta Texas Austin with another 5,000, Delta Psi Texas Arlington with 2,155, Eta Rho Texas State San Marcos 1,500, and Alpha Psi Indiana with 1,326.
On top of the generous donations being made by chapters and chapter brothers across the country, we also have some regional challenge updates we'll give to you in a second. But before we move on to that, just want to thank someone for making a $50,000 generous matching gift as we head into the rest of Day of Giving. On top of that, we've got these regional challenges that I mentioned, and we're going to start off giving you an update with the West Coast and thanking them.
So for the West Coast, with Daniel Hitsky from the Zeta Lambda chapter at Cal State Chico.
And in the Midwest, we have David Shook, Alpha Psi, Indiana.
And then a region that I'm pretty familiar with, being from small town Louisiana, the southern region, from Ernest Johnson at Alpha Iota Auburn. Thank you all for your generous regional challenges that you set up for Day of Giving this year. Want to also thank you all for being a part of the foundation board and for all that you do for the fraternity across the board, for our chapters, as well as everything you do for us at a national level. Now we're going to kind of talk a little bit about some of those prizes that you can win and a little bit about how you can donate.
Sure. Well, to donate, you can follow the link that will appear on the screen and also through our social media channels. And a little bit of the giveaways that once you donate at least $19.04, you'll get. Unfortunately, those who came in early already took all of the available socks. But one of the giveaways is this phone wallet, which you can still get some if you, again, donate more than $19.04. Jason?
And if you don't want the phone wallet, you can also get a Pi Kappa Phi tumbler.
So there's a little sneak peek at all the cool things you could have in your hands through the mail once you donate $19.04 or more for Day of Giving. Just to kind of give you an idea of where some of this money goes towards after Day of Giving is all over, the money doesn't just go down a deep, dark hole. It actually goes to some pretty cool things. And so one of the things is scholarships, grants, and funding that goes directly to our students. Then leadership and educational programs such as Pi Kappa College for chapter officers, Pi Kappa College for emerging leaders, etc. And we'll retouch on that one here in a little bit. Then volunteer training and support for chapter advisors, council advisors, and people that serve our fraternity men across the country, along with some historic preservation, whether that be for our museum, maybe initiation cards, things of that nature. But I know we've got one thing that I alluded to here a second ago that hits a little close to home to this guy on my left. And Jason was actually a part of Pi Kappa College for emerging leaders right before the pandemic hit. And so he got the opportunity to participate in that program, come visit Charlotte and Charleston a little bit, right? And I think he had a great experience. And we want to tell you a little bit about that. So that way you can kind of see firsthand where that money goes. So Jason, tell us a little bit about your Pi Kappa College for emerging leaders experience.
So I went to Pi Kappa College for emerging leaders the summer of my sophomore year going into my junior year. And I'm from the West Coast, so I had never been to the East Coast before. It was definitely a culture shock, but through that week that I spent here in North Carolina and visiting the College of Charleston in South Carolina, it really helped me develop myself as a leader through the workshops that they led me through some of the guys that I met from other chapters across the country. I was able to both look inside myself and see what potential I had to impact myself as well as impact my chapter and kind of lead my chapter to a better place than where I began. And then through that, I was really able to kind of speak up as well as become more of a leader and see where things should go in my chapter. And when I got back to Sacramento State, I saw the opportunity to become vice archon, and I would have never thought of being able to do that if I never went to Pi Cap College for Emerging Leaders.
So obviously some of those dollars that you give during times like Day of Giving go to help people like Jason, like Anderson, like myself, realize what their full potential really is. Jason, what was kind of like the one like takeaway? Like you say, you came back, you were able to be vice archon and kind of change some things in your chapter, leave it better than you found it, right? Mm-hmm. But what was the one thing that you took away that you brought back to your chapter that really stuck in your head? That one skill, that one piece of advice?
Yeah, and I think for me personally, it was the fact that Pi Kappa Phi just wasn't my chapter at Sacramento State. Because I was able to see other people's opinions as well as be taught how to like work through those kind of disagreements or that adversity from other guys that I met. It was really the fact that there's resources out there from a national standpoint as well as places to get involved. Yeah, it really helped a lot because it helped me see that it wasn't just a chapter at a university just in one place. It was a real connection and so much more of a brotherhood.
Of course. And I think those programs, whether they be Pi Cap College for Emerging Leaders, Pi Cap College for chapter officers, so on and so forth, they give us opportunity to connect on a deeper level. And when you do that, naturally, you're going to talk a little shop, maybe talk a little recruitment, what it's like to be vice archon, and maybe pull your chapter up by its bootstraps and recruit more people than what you have since you've been there. And it's kind of what you did at Sac State, which is pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. Well, as we kind of start to wrap up the first of two different streams, we're going to give you some updates on how much money has been raised, as well as touch on some of those stories that this money really does go to impact the lives of our students on a yearly basis. Also want to give you a chance to ask some questions or drop comments in the chat and things of that nature. And then I think there might be a little opportunity to donate as well, Anderson.
Yep. Just, again, follow the link. We have it on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and you'll see it on the screen as well. It really does help, us having opportunities as students. And for me as an alumni, like giving back, and it's a small token of appreciation for the foundation, which did help me through scholarships and giving me opportunities that I didn't think were possible without it.
And speaking of scholarships, spoiler alert, that's what we'll talk to you here about in a little while. So we'll see you again in a couple hours with some updates. Might give you some more facts and figures. We appreciate you tuning in and watching live. And happy Founders Day. Thank you for participating in Day of Giving and showing your love and appreciation for a fraternity that's just given us all so much. So thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.